The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Then they came to Capernaum, and on the Sabbath, Jesus entered the synagogue and taught. The people were astonished at his teaching, for he taught them as one having authority, and not like the scribes. In their synagogue was a man with an unclean spirit. He cried out, "What have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." Jesus rebuked him and said, "Quiet! Come out of him." The unclean spirit convulsed him, and with a loud cry came out of him. All were amazed and asked one another, "What is this? A new teaching with authority. He commands even the unclean spirits, and they obey him." His fame spread everywhere throughout the whole region of Galilee. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
If you listen to our second reading, it might have turned you off a bit. I know Paul managed to offend me in that reading. For Paul to suggest that simply because I'm not married and I have no children, I live an anxious, free life. That is really insulting. And I think there is ample evidence that neither celibacy nor being single guarantees that a person is totally devoted to God. On the other hand, is a husband concerned with pleasing his wife and a wife concerned with pleasing her husband? Well, maybe a lot of the time, but I don't think that's the experience that most husbands and wives would tell you they have all the time. Kind of falls short every now and then, I think. I stand on the outside looking in on that one, but I really have to tell you that, and many of the folks I'm referring to are here, that I find that many who are joined in marriage are among the holiest people that I know. I would also recognize that there are priests and religious who are dedicated and prayerful and holy people. Well, I know others that are kind of self-centered and kind of on a power trip, to be honest. I think this is a case where Paul's words kind of fail him a little. And a case where we get caught up in his examples rather than what he's actually trying to say to us. Certainly an unmarried person devoted to God will theoretically have more time to be at the service of the community and theoretically have more time for solitude and prayer. In fact, almost every parent I know who is immersed with the details of their family and work and household chores kind of sighs for the time to do such. I think I've mentioned it before, the one wife and mother who had told me that the only time she can pray is to go into the bathroom. That's one place everyone will leave her alone. But I think the crucially operative phrase in what Paul writes is devoted to God. I think that's a point Paul is trying to make, and the point we tend not to hear because we get lost in the whole discussion of single life, married life, and so forth. If one is not devoted to God, then all the free time in the world is not going to yield even a thimbleful of love. And if one is devoted to God, then even the most ordinary and mundane experiences can be a source of God's presence and peace and revelation. I think Paul would surely agree that if our life is not grounded in God, then we are essentially just living for ourselves. But if our life is grounded in God, then regardless of our state, our love is both an expression and a sharing in that transcendent love to which all of our earthly love is drawn.